Okay. So basically what I believe to be true from reading scripture and from what I believe to be true just from my intuition, and you guys are more than welcome to add on to this. And what I want to say is, let's see, these two things right here, there's always one way to beat your enemy, right? This is the unbeatable enemy. This is like a Goliath, okay? That's what's going on in the outer. But if you look at all the scripture, from the Lord's Prayer to, the Psalms, these two things right here are what were used like in everything. Rejoice means to joy. The word joy is enjoy, rejoice. Mm-hmm. And forgiveness means to for and give, which means to yield before truth. So that exercise we did yesterday with those, certain boxes where you're flowing, mm-hmm. that is yielding to truth. Mm-hmm. It's saying, okay, I get it. My carnal mind says that what I see, smell, hear, taste, and touch is that I'm being encamped by evil. Just like the 91st Psalm. I'm walking in the valley of the shadow of death, like this is the real deal. Like it's game on. The enemy said it's over for you, right? How am I going to beat that enemy when that enemy has beaten every single person, right? Neo, right? The Matrix? Mm-hmm. Like that enemy has beaten everybody who's come before you. Well, how are you going to beat them, right? Well, the only way that it was ever done is through joy, okay? And as I was telling you, Surprises Satole, the man who raised people from the dead, a very powerful minister, his book was about how the enemy steals your joy. Yeah. So we have to fight to keep our joy. Mm-hmm. Now that's very sacred because what is joy? It's the strength of the Lord. Strength. Mm-hmm. How do you defeat an enemy if you have no strength? Yeah. So what is the compass here? It's not only your compass north in terms of finding your destiny, following the fastest path to your joy in every moment, but it's also how you bring the strength of the Lord to your fight so that the Lord takes the battle. Now, how the Lord takes the battle is through your non-resistance through peace. Okay, that's your claim of trust. Mm-hmm. Just like trust, the most powerful force in the universe, the book title. Literally, your peace that you hold is how you defer the battle to God. Got it. If you take the battle on, you'll lose. Guaranteed, 100% every time. Everybody I've known that has went against the system, the beast, mm-hmm. is either dead or in prison, or they've been deplatformed, demonetized, demoralized, and stamped out like mm-hmm. they're done. Mm-hmm. You cannot beat them head on. The Lord beats them. But how you have to walk in the Lord is you need to understand joy and forgiveness. Okay? That's our secret. So what we did this morning is we did a 5-minute I am presence meditation. And that is to every day tap into that consciousness so that you are with the Lord. If you're not sensitive, if you don't know the voice of the Lord, you might as well just be drunk in the Matrix, right? So if you spend time turning within and letting that meditative reflection become your dominant state of awareness, then what will happen is everything you do infuses itself with that quality. And before you know it, you'll be slipping into an altered state of flow all the time. Mm-hmm. I can at will let go of reasoning and just go into flow at will. And so can you. But the key is, how do you know how to let go if you don't have that peace rooted right here? Mm-hmm. Okay? You're out of peace. Remember your peace contract claim? Every time you're out of peace, you begin to take thought for your life. Right? So where do we lose our joy? This is what I want to tell you. And this is actually flow right now. I've never said this before, okay? So we lose our joy by eating the forbidden fruit, first and foremost. The very first thing you do that puts you into the spell of Delilah, into the Adam dream through the 5 senses, is you eat the forbidden fruit. In other words, if I say in my heart that there is an evil power out there, what I have done is I have taken something that belongs wholly to God, which is power. That's a quality of God. And I've given it to another God. Mm-hmm. And then I've created a graven image, the image of evil, something that's pursuing me. If you look at the Nag Hammadi library in the Gospel of Truth, it says they run in terror even though no one chases them. And yet they also are chasing, trying to kill each other. See? what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
We're drunk. We're in a dream. There's no one there.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that, right? How did we get that dream? Well, we ate the forbidden fruit. We said that there is a good power in the world, okay? Like, for instance, all the people telling the truth, they're the good guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the bad people, the ones that are trying to like kill you. Neither one of them contain any power of good or evil, because all power belongs to God, and the only good is the good that God bestows. So the only good you're getting is through the instrument or vessel that's in front of you that has God quality.
Mm-hmm.
There is no evil. So you contain all evil and you discount it as nothingness. It's error. It's illusion.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to hold your peace is to be non-resistant to that evil. See? Jesus didn't say, let's go, let's go, let's go. He said, I'm non-resistant to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to fight this battle. I'll ascend right out. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
It's really it's like an analog. It's a story of how your attitude and behavior ascends out of this dream, and then divine love steps in to meet the need. Because that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to say, this is all a dream. I understand. There appears to be lack. There appears to be evil. There appears to be threats everywhere I look. But what did the psalmist do? Forgive and rejoice is the key. Okay, so what we need to do with this right here is we need to turn this into forgiveness. Okay, so this right here is the carnal mind. Paul called it the mind of this world. Mary Baker Eddy calls it mortal mind. They call it animal magnetism. They call it mesmerism, the hypnotic dream of the atom consciousness. And it is what you see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. All the data that you've brought in. Whenever you see a person, a condition, or a circumstance that appears to have a power, you know you're dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's only one power, and there's only one presence, there's only one mind, and there's only one activity, and that activity is divine love. So what you've just done is you've just ascribed power to a non-entity. There's nothing there. You've committed this first, do not have any other gods before me, and graven images. And then you've committed blasphemy, because here's the idea. Since the outer is a deficiency, it's nothingness, you took their images of nothing, okay, the carnal mind's images, and you put it into the Holy of Holies, which is your imagination.
Mm-hmm.
That is the pure mind of Christ, the pure awareness.
Mm-hmm.
See, right now, go back behind your thoughts. You notice how it's pure?
Mm-hmm.
There's no judgment. It's just observing. That's pure awareness.
Yeah.
You take evil and you put it into that space,
Mm-hmm.
that's blasphemy. And it requires you to pay the full, uttermost consequence of that sin. Because what you did is you declared that there is two powers, good and evil.
Yeah.
And think about it, good and evil. They're both not good
Yeah.
or evil. There's nothing there. See that?
Mm-hmm.
Even the good we think is good, like I said yesterday, is not good. Right? So, what we want to do is we want to dismiss all of this evidence of people, circumstances, conditions. And by doing so, we allow for the realization to come to us that we were talking about this morning, right? You're only one idea away from a solution to whatever you think is a problem. Because by law, every time there is a human problem, there has to be the exact solution present in that same space. And remember what we were talking about, that it's always right in front of you.
Right.
Right. And remember, what was in front of you in your bag?
Joy.
Joy. And it started about when?
A couple years ago.
A couple years ago. And when we were talking about doing sets to get back into joy,
Yeah.
when was it when you started losing your joy?
A couple years ago.
Couple years ago, right? That's exactly how this game works. But it was right in front of you the whole time, staring at you in the face.
Yeah.
But because you're out of alignment with joy, you can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what Jesus meant in the Nag Hammadi when he says he walked amongst the mortals, but they were all drunk.
Yeah.
Okay? When you're in a bar and everybody's drunk, Rich, isn't it like they're just totally oblivious to how drunk they are if you're the sober one? Like,
It's been a while.
you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
You could be, everybody, they're like, hey man, what's going on? And they're like, you're looking at them sober and you're like, what an idiot, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's like when you rise out of the dream and you're looking at everybody in the dream.
Mm.
Because they're literally in a mesmeric spell And they call it spirits when you drink because it really is. It's like you're entertaining spirits.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to get into the vibration of joy. Sets. Okay? So the first thing, I am meditation. That's our first daily habit. Mm-hmm. Second thing is we want to get our scale, our vibration up. Because after we get our vibration up to joy, then we can properly move into this forgiveness phase. Okay? So, I'll give you an example of the set, all right? Now, we talked earlier, I'm at like a 7. Mm-hmm. And so the way that the world works is it tries to steal your joy. And what I was telling you guys, and I'm just telling the camera now, is that this morning I'm watching YouTube, and there's the bad news again, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, now they're going to, America first, or America competes, they're going to ban crypto through the back door. They're always trying to steal your joy. There's always going to be something. Rapid fire bullshit constantly. It's the rapid production of bullshit coming from the top down. They're always going to be like, oh, here, boom, mandate bill, here, this. They're just, the entire outer is the carnal mind. Mm-hmm. It's tricking you. It's the serpent in the garden, okay? You never left heaven, okay? How could you have never left heaven if you're here in this place? How could you have never left heaven? How is that possible? How is it? What's that?
You've been tricked.
Exactly. How?
Through every nook and cranny of your lives.
Exactly. Okay, remember the last time you had a bad dream? Did you ever pop out of it and be like, wow, I'm glad that was a dream?
Yes.
It's been a while for me.
And so when you woke up out of that dream, wasn't it almost like a shocker, like you just couldn't believe that it was just a dream? Mm-hmm. It's the same thing as you're in right now. Mm-hmm. And every time you see a person, a condition, a quality given to a condition or circumstance, or you need God, you're in a dream. Mm-hmm. So you need to rise up out of that dream. These are the ways you rise up. So first of all, you have to say from 0 to 10, how much joy do I have in my heart right now? And the reason why you have to say that is out of the heart come the issues of life. Remember that. It doesn't say out of your thought come the issues of life. It says out of your heart come the issues of life. And so this works on a vibrational spectrum. So if I'm at a 2 joy, Bree, mm-hmm. right? Now this is relative, right? On a baseline average. I'm not saying if I'm at like a 6 joy now, but the last 2 years I've been at a 2, right? Look at the last couple of years of your life on a composite average. How much joy have you been expressing, right? First of all joy belongs to God. It doesn't belong to you. But if you're not expressing it, guess where that other 8 out of 10 is? It's in the dream.
Not with me, yeah.
You're in the dream.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the answer. How could I have never left heaven, but yet I appear to be here? Heaven is the reflection of the fruits of the Spirit through your heart. Mm-hmm. And then it brings about the clearing of all the debris so that you can see what God has already given you. Mm. You see? Mm-hmm. So if I'm at a 8 or 10 out of joy, this is how I solve the problem in my nutrition store. Problem appears to be no customers. Went from 30 some people walking in the store a day down to 2 because they just did construction on the road. So nobody's coming to the store. The store was already losing money. Now we're really losing money. I don't have money at the time. I had nothing. I was on faith. And I said, God, this isn't good. I'm gonna go down here. Like, this is bad. Like, my customers are gone. So what did I do? First thing I did was I activated faith. Logic doesn't produce miracles, faith does. What is in your hand, if it's not your harvest, it must be your seed. So I was making about $15 of profit a day in that store. That's not enough to pay even the overhead, let alone my own expenses. Mm-hmm. That's nothing. So I said, God, this is a seed. This isn't a harvest. So I took all of it and I started tithing it on faith. That sounds ridiculous to the carnal mind. Mm-hmm. Like, are you stupid? Like, how stupid could you possibly be? Like, this guy's tricked, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't care about nothing but God's favor. That's all I cared about. God's ways are not man's ways. So I started tithing that. And I started saying, God, I trust you, and I'm going to go down believing in you. I said, one way or the other, I'm going down here. I'm going to go down believing in you at least, right? Mm-hmm. Well, apparently God had other plans for someone that trusts. Because what is trust, Rich? It's what? The most powerful force in the universe. Mm-hmm. So would you like to have the most powerful force in the universe?
Yes.
You have to walk, you get there through faith, not logic. Always faith. Now, the second thing I did is I said, okay, what's the fastest path to my joy in this moment? Now, okay, that makes no sense to the carnal mind, right? So you're telling me, Matthew, that the fastest path to your joy in this moment is to lock the front door, to go in the back room, get your guitar, play some Guns N' Roses, and actually just negate anybody from ever coming in the event you could possibly make that $15, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was the fast path to my joy to do that. So I turned away from the world and I went and followed my joy. Literally. Well, what happened in that space? See, when I was losing the store and I got tricked, the enemy came and stole my joy. That's what it does. So instead of having an 8 or a 10 joy, I went down to like a 1 out of 10 joy. Okay, 1 out of 10 joy means 90% of me is completely in the dream, which means I will never see the solution, even though it's right in front of me, because I'm totally drunk.
Yeah.
But what I did is I said, no, out of the heart come the issues of life. I'm going to reflect a quality of God, of joy. I'm going to be the instrument of joy in this world because the source is within. So I went to my set, did my guitar playing. I got to like an 8 out of 8 joy. It took me a day or two to get there, okay? But I followed my joy. In that place of joy, now I'm reflecting what God is doing. Instant download comes right into my awareness. I knew exactly how to solve the store's problems. In that moment, I had a revelation just like that. And it was under my nose the whole time, staring at me straight in the face, just like everything else. From the moment that store started failing, I already had the answer, but I couldn't see it until I was in a state of joy. That's why the enemy tries to steal your joy. So remember this talk, because this is the real versus the unreal, okay? The qualities that come out of the heart are the real. The unreal is the see, smell, hear, taste, and touch in the peripheral. So you take your data from this, okay? This is where it comes from. So I get up this morning, fast forward. Well, needless to say, long story short, I deployed that idea, and within 7 minutes, I had 7 minutes and 30 some seconds. I had a YouTube video on where I did a review video, okay? I knew exactly what to do, put it on a landing page, put a PayPal account on there, launched it on YouTube. It took me like an hour to put the whole thing up, an hour. Made me over $1 million. I sold that company twice. Sold half of it the first time, half of it the second time. Cash flowed on it for 3.5 years in the process on one idea.
Wow.
Okay, that was the first time I discovered this power. And I've discovered it dozens of times since then, all right? From picking the right cryptos to picking the right business ideas. Does it work every single time? Yes. But the key is your timing and God's timing are not the same. But I will tell you this. When the problem seems to show up, the solution is right under your nose. They have to come hand in hand. It's a dielectric. The universe works in twin opposing forces. So if you see a problem, it means an equal and opposite solution is right under your nose. The reason why you see a problem is because you're reflecting what the world is, not what God is. So we reflect what God is, and then our sight is of what is real. And then we are given the all-sufficiency of love, which we never left heaven. See, it's the proof you never left heaven when you experience that miracle. Okay? So that's how I can prove to you that when I was in the store, I was still standing in heaven, but yet I was drunk in a dream. And then I remembered I lost my joy. So I put myself back into my joy, and I recovered myself back in heaven. You see? So this morning, again, something comes and it steals my joy back down to a 7. Now we go into sets, okay? So I'll do the set quick, all right? And the music I'm not going to do because I don't have it.
Okay.
It's on the phone here. So first of all, 7 out of 10, not good enough, all right? Cut. Okay, Matthew, it's a choice. You can do 7 or you can do 10. What's it going to be? All right, good. Here's the deal. Your attitude towards life determines what reflects. It's God's power. It's not yours. You get it from inheritance by your free will, which is the fulcrum of power. What do you want to do, Matthew? All right, here we go. Okay, now, what I'm doing is I'm flashing all the victories that I've had. Okay, all these moments. I'm flashing them all through me, and I'm going to pick the finest memory. There we go. I found the finest memory. Now, out of that memory, the body's the memory stick. Look at the body. I'm going to take on the physiology of that memory. I'm going to Like literally like step into the game. Like I'm in the memory now. This is me. I am in that environment. Even though you're here, you're actually not here. I'm actually envisioning that memory being here. See that? Just like when you're a kid and you pretend like you're in a game and all that stuff. I'm actually in the memory right now. I'm not in this room with you. I'm in the memory. The key is my physiology will hold that frequency. Okay? Now, I have to maintain that as I step into the world. Now, I'm going to wait and let that scale up. Once I lock in that frequency from that memory, then I'm in the same space, location. See, objects don't move as you think they move. They're all locked into space, locations, frequency, dimensions. And so what happens is when this goes over here, it's actually in another space, location, frequency. It's not the same object, is what I'm telling you. They're not the same. So the me that's in this room right now is not the same me that was in this room 30 seconds ago. Now that's a mind blower, isn't it? Because your logical linear mind thinks that we move through time and space, and time and space is an illusion. We are actually frequency beings that we are emitting, okay? Out of the heart comes the issues of life. And in the Veda, it says that infinite worlds appear and reappear in the vast expanse of consciousness like motes of dust dancing in a beam of light. Have you seen dust in a beam of light?
Yes.
Well, that's how you're reshaping yourself in and out of existence, flickering in and out of existence, literally in every moment, like reshaping, remolding. And what is governing all that? It's out of the heart.
Frequency.
That's it. And your world is no more real than this world of motes of dust. So don't be tricked by the human eye. The imagination is more powerful than the human eye every time. So now I'm in the imagination. I've shifted. Imagination. Reasoning mind is left brain. Left brain takes you down to the state of hell. Reasoning is of the devil, they say. Because left brain is anxiety, and it brings you down the consciousness scale. Right brain, okay, takes you into the imagination. That is where you access the kingdom, okay? That's why children are much closer to the kingdom than adults. And that's why they call adults adults, because they're adulterated. They're literally idiots. And they govern everything because the world is upside down. The world out there is upside down. It's a deficiency, okay? So, now, rejoice. There you go. It says when you are persecuted in the Bible, rejoice. Did you know what it meant? Did you know what it meant? It meant to take your joy back, right? So you're persecuted, take your joy back. The next thing you do is you forgive. Remember 70 times 7, Jesus said forgive, forgive, forgive. Well, what forgiveness is look at it like this. Remember those boxes we drew out? See, God showed me the science of forgiveness, okay? Okay, so first of all, the whole thing makes sense when you really put it together, okay? You have the cross here, you have the earth, water, fire, and the wind, okay? That's the 4 elements. The 4 elements make up the material construct, okay? The material construct is the illusion. Now, what you have up here is you have the Trinity, and you have the aversions and attachments, and that comprises what human will is, and that's also the twin dielectric, okay? It's good and bad, good and bad, good and bad. We're always going binary, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. Computer system, binary, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. If you would just stop doing that and actually just go back to the first principle truth and rest on that. See, 4 means to yield, give to truth. Yield to the truth. Yield to the truth. Even though I see evil in my outer, I know that there's only God, and divine love is the only presence that is here, was here, and will ever be here. See that? That yielding to the truth is the constant state of forgiveness. Now, after I'm in joy, I keep yielding to that truth. And then in that space of non-judgment, okay, that's when the sight of what has been given becomes known. See that? That's when the answer comes. And that answer is the divine miracle you're looking for. You're looking for an idea. It's an idea universe, okay? So, can an idea heal you of a terminal illness? Absolutely. Can an idea make you a fortune overnight? Of course it can. What can't an idea do? Well, everything's an idea, see? So all you're looking for is to put yourself into that state, and then out of that state, you are in alignment with what you're looking for, and it comes to you. Seek first the kingdom, and all these things shall be brought unto you. Make sense?
Totally.